Hey there YouTube, I'm Yukitsu, this is the Yukitsu Times. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Simcity, just playing a little bit more of it. As you can see, I've changed a few things, moved around some of the buildings that I've had. For instance, I wanted my French police station to be right in the center of town, near where my gambling district is going to be, have the biggest effect there. And I've got some extra service roads here that have allowed for my utilities sector here. The reason I have my sewage treatment plant right beside my water pumping station is that this sewage treatment plant replenishes the water table when the water goes to it, and that recycles back into the water pumping station, which then pumps the clean water back. Otherwise the water table depletes and you run out of water. So positioning your stuff a bit like this, there's more optimal ways to do it, but I ran out of room, is a good idea, and it's actually necessary later on when your city's reaching populations of like 300,000 and you're taking up like 1 million gallons a day. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, for the meantime, I've added the Department of Utilities to here. I just need to wait till I get to 15,000 before I add on the Department of Transit, and that way I'll be able to get a train and an airplane out of here, out of this little sticks town, into somewhere else that I can expand my casino empire. What I'm actually going to do at this point is just add more casinos to the downtown area, and you need more of these small ones, I find, before you can get to the gambling HQ. So let's just plop one of these on here, and let's do it like I did the other one. Boom, right there. Just gonna use I want to use a different marquee than the other one's got, so let's see what we got here. This one's got this sort of tall, colorful one, so let's use a different one here. So let's use, yeah, I think I used that one, so let's use this one. There, perfect. Now this place is not yet open, so it's again going to be losing me money, but that will be pretty rapidly rectified. Just going to put down the exact same facilities on this one. Blackjack tables. Boom. I need more power at this point, is what this guy was complaining about. That's a bit of a surprise to me. I might have to replace the wind power generator at this point in time, since while they're great at the beginning, since they're so inexpensive, it's usually going to run out pretty quickly. So let's try and get this up and running for a little while longer. There we go. I'm short money, so I'll have to wait. Let's just check our power supply situation here. Yeah, things are looking a little bit grim sort of near the center here. I'm going to have to wait till it fills out, but it is enough theoretically to power my city, so there you go. As you can see, it's going around, everything's fine. What I am going to want to do is wait till I've got enough money and replace my wind power station with a coal power station. At which point I might delete this old utility road, or I might not, but we'll have to see. Looks like things are going okay. This gambling house is still unpowered, but there's no one working there anyway, so it's not a huge deal. Now, a coal power plant requires constant shipments of coal from outside sources, so that's a drain on your economy up and above the normal upkeep cost of the building. So it's important to keep in mind that it costs a lot of money to keep a coal plant up and running by contrast to most other power plants. So always keep that at the back of your head when you're designing your city. You don't want rampant costs spiraling out of control and forcing you to start a new city. So I've got enough for this now. I'm going to put it down over here, I guess. I just want it near the casino. This is probably going to send a wave of unhappiness across. Yeah, there it goes. All these people don't like the fact that I'm building this coal power plant, and it's like, yeah, you'll get over it. This guy's unhappy, high taxes. So this looks like the point in time where I'm going to have to start reducing my taxes from 12 to 11%, and that's fine. Once this casino starts turning up a profit, I'll be fine. Now I just need to wait till my coal power plant starts generating power, and then I'll be able to delete this. That'll open up a little bit of space, and I'll probably put a high school there. Or maybe around there. This is apparently going to be a medium income building, which is a little bit strange since I don't have very many medium income sims, if any. I don't know if I have any, come to think of it. But that's their prerogative. We'll let them do what they want to do. What I want to do is build a park somewhere, since apparently the mayor's mansion wasn't enough to entice these people to build bigger houses. So placing these is always sort of the thing that I dislike most about this game. It's always hard for me to figure out where I want to place it. But just building one big park is something I like to do as opposed to building a lot of little parks. It covers a huge area and it's pretty efficient, so let's drop it there. As you can see, it's a huge wave of happiness that sort of radiates outwards and covers up most of my residential, about half of it. So what I'll do on this other side here is just drop down a medium one. And I'll take out some of this residential while I'm at it, or sorry, commercial. And between the two of those parks, I should be covering most of the city, if not all of it. There we go. So we've got two nice little green spaces in our city, and those will help out. Yep, and that's formed our first apartment building. That's the catalyst. When you need to upgrade your buildings from whatever small ones to these larger ones, parks, it's a combination of factors. You need to have your fire station, your clinic, your school, your police station. All those things need to be there, and then they'll start doing this. Usually they'll do it near the mayor's house. They'll do it near where they have access to these services, so this road, and all of those other good things. Make them happy. So this casino is still losing a lot of money, but this one's gone up to 8,170 a day. That's really good. I can start looking towards my mass transit system, which I think I had and then deleted. Oh no, it's right here. Let's just upgrade it since I seem to be having traffic problems anyway. Yeah, I had to move around a lot of stuff because it just wasn't quite the way I wanted it. And it's pretty easy to move stuff around. You just delete things. It's not a big deal. Not enough simoleons, that'll be enough. So my bus time minutes, bus waiting is 39 minutes, which is pretty appalling. Let's add a little bit more to that. You can see the buses just sort of going around in circles, and that's actually very efficient, surprisingly. A little bit of coverage needed there. So buses going around in circles is very efficient because there's no intersections here for them to stop. They'll just keep going until they hit one of the bus stops with people that want to get on. And then they hit this like traffic jam section of intersection. So at this point in time, I need to start thinking about how I'm going to accommodate all these extra sims that are coming into my town. I'm going to delete my power plant since I'm pretty certain that my other thing is got people working in it now. Yep. There's no way it wouldn't have people working in it by then. And if it didn't, well, tough luck to all the sims living here. Should have worked in the power plant. And that's good. So my air pollution levels are rising. That's partly because of my coal power plant over there. So at this point in time, what I really want to save up for is a recycling center, which I'm going to put down by the bus depot. And a recycling center is in with your garbage. You get it from your advanced utilities, and it costs a heck of a lot of money. It costs $111,000, and it essentially costs $160,000 because you also need to get your trade depot. So it's always important to look at the details of your buildings, and the details for that include that you get trade items, and until you use those trade items by selling them at a trade depot, you basically just sit on them. And you'll look at that. It's not intuitive, but you'll learn it immediately if you like mouse over everything. I had to upgrade this utility road because there were too many people working at my water station. So it's always good. It means that a lot of them have jobs. Just going to upgrade this road as well. There we go. So we got all these yellow... I have no idea what this is, actually. Taxis. Huh, I've never seen taxis like that in a little convoy like that, but I've got a lot of people visiting my casinos, I guess. This one's still losing money. It'll probably creep up by the next few days or so. Now what I'm probably actually going to need is to delete this road, upgrade it, build another highway or another avenue out this way, and build the train station over here once I can gain access to it. And I gain access to that in about 1,600 more people. And since my city density is naturally increasing by these under construction apartments, I don't really have to do a whole lot to make that happen. Now my Sims are not entirely happy with everything. My approval rating's pretty high though, at 79%. So things are looking pretty good right now. Always look for ways that you can make them happier though, so what I'm going to do is add another squad car, because I know that this is going to be one of the cities where crime is a big thing. And when in doubt, upgrading your fire, your wellness clinic, and your schools is always a good way about it. In fact, my schools are at capacity again, so I'm going to upgrade that. Huge number of people use the schools, so it's important that you keep them well funded, well upgraded. Especially as these apartments come up, more and more people will be enrolled at my elementary. What I'll need to do later is probably build another city that's an academic region, and then I'll be able to build a high school here. Because when I'm doing the Department of Tourism, the Department of Transit, and the Department of Utilities here, that's just too many for me to realistically fit in this one city. Although I have gotten to a population of 300,000, I think that's the highest I can personally get. I am not sure if I'm going to be able to do it with this particular layout, just because it's so inefficient. You've got all this open space here that's not being used. Anyhow, I'm probably going to cut the video here for just a little bit until things have grown up a bit, and I'll talk to you as soon as that happens. Or not. Looks like my upgrade is available right now from all these apartments suddenly getting filled, and you see that I just got a huge burst in population without having to do anything at all. So let's go upgrade our town hall. Perfect. So now I can add on the Department of Transportation. Boom. And I happen to like this configuration for the town hall here, where it's just got these two wings sticking out the side there. And then usually I'll put like the Department of Education behind it or something. Looks really good. Now, that means that I am going to want to delete this road now. There we go. And I'm going to build that out towards the airport and train station, which is going to be over here. Now, since I do need to build the airport as well, I'm going to... what building's in place here? Okay, well apparently there's a corridor here where I can do this. I'm not really sure what I'm running over that I'm not supposed to, but let's find out what I can do here. So I want this to be fairly long because I need it to supply all those people in the airport, and I want the airport to sort of back directly onto it. An airport is a very expensive building. I won't be able to afford it for a little while. So let's just wait till I get that, and then we'll be on our merry way. Hey there YouTube, welcome back. I'm just on the cusp of being able to afford my municipal airport, and I've kind of been zoning things out a little bit, looking at things while my money's been coming in, and I've sort of realized that I don't want my airport down there. It's too close to residential. I'm going to build it up here so that it'll make my industrial a bit happier. Terrain too steep. It looks like I can just barely get it in here somewhere, but it looks like I have to be very specific. There we go. And as you can see, waves of happiness and just a tiny little fringe of unhappiness, and that's perfectly fine. Now what I am going to need to do is get a good road out to there for now. Let's connect this up to... Actually, I think that's already connected. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, yeah, sorry, that defaults to connect. I'm thinking of railway tracks. So that's a bit silly of me. Anyhow, this does mean that I do need to demolish this road, which is going to take out this casino, which is a little bit... It's, well, it's really unfortunate, really, but this gambling house is going along pretty nicely. I think I also have to destroy my police station, so I'll have to wait a little bit before I do that. I've got apparently someone here. Yeah, I'm not keeping up with crime. I'll do it as soon as I can edit this to put it to a new location. But in any event, what I've decided to do, instead of having all of my traffic coming in from outer cities along here, from both the airport and the train station, I'd have the train station route over here, so that people using trains could get here, and then I'd have the airport route up here where it could sort of cut through here, and I'll have an upgraded road cutting through here. Also, while I was up to it, I figured out why this road couldn't build through where I wanted it to. It was being blocked by bus stops. I forgot that bus stops can block buildings. So it's always important to keep that in mind. Also, another thing came up while you were gone. My approval rating went up to that sort of critical above 80. And it's always nice to have it above 80 because that's when you can get the best upgrades for your mayor's mansion once your population is over 40,000. Now the problem is I'm not going to be able to keep that population happy when I'm up to 40,000 people. But that's just sort of the way this game works. It's a fact of life. I'm going to upgrade these roads since traffic problems are developing here. Whoops. Okay, well I've just got the one chunk of a streetcar that does nothing right now, but that's okay. So as you can see, traffic's starting to pile up a little bit. They're saying I've got a low attraction level. That just means that I need to get a Department of Tourist and put a nice building here of some sort. So we'll figure that out when we get there. As you can see, traffic's jammed up, but it's mostly by these moving vans, so I'm not too concerned. Happens every time you sort of do a rezoning thing. Yeah, moving trucks. Once they get moving, traffic flows along pretty nicely. It's pretty fun watching them just sort of circling around, circling around, circling around. It's very relaxing, and that's the point of this series. Okay, I've now got enough for another French police station, so I'm going to demolish this one and build a new one. Now that did have the unfortunate side effect of like releasing all the convicts. That's strange. There we go. Anyhow, that did give me the unfortunate side effect of releasing all the convicts that were in that prison. But, you know, it's one of those things that'll just help me get this a little bit faster, which I've now qualified for since there are a ton of criminals just running around freely. I need to wait a little bit longer, and then I'll be able to add more jails and more squad cars to this police station, which is going to be my first priority before I expand this road. Boom. More money. More money, more problems. There we go. Now, just because you have criminals running around your city does not necessarily mean that they're going to immediately commit crimes. They usually go home, wait around a little bit, and then commit a crime later. So, either way though, this jail is going to fill up really quickly. So I'm going to need to upgrade it. Let's just check how much this costs, 15,000, and that'll be okay. That should be all I need. So this is probably going to decrease my land value quite a bit as all these criminals are running around here, setting fire to my buildings, committing muggings, if I recall, getting arrested for it, thankfully. But that's basically how this goes. They are all heading home now, and I can't get them when they're at home without a detective. Another crime's in progress. He's been arrested. Perfect. I'm not sure if the fire station got to this building in time, so it might have burned down. I'll have to delete it probably. Once there's been a fire in a building, sometimes they abandon it if it's too bad, and they just leave. Whoops, that is not... no. That would have been awful. Okay, let's get that down. And things should be relatively under control now. Still got lots of moving vans in and out of the city. Got someone saying that he wants me to improve the economy. That's, I think, what that guy says. But things are going along pretty well. As you can see, most of my factories have upgraded to the next size. They're complaining that they don't have anywhere to ship their freight, but that's tough luck to them. We are not dealing in freight in this town, we're dealing in gambling. So, let's delete. Let's wait till we can afford to replace it first, actually. Once we can afford the new casino and the new road, we'll delete that and then place all that. But until then, let's just enjoy the money that's coming in from it. And the ridiculous amount of happiness that I've got. 81% approval, not bad. My population's steadily climbing, even though I haven't increased any zoning, as you'll notice. Adding more zoning is not necessarily the only way to increase your population. In fact, my population is pentupled without really having to increase this. This guy is complaining about something, and I've never seen the road sign before. If we had a ferry terminal... Okay, I kind of want to do that actually, and I'll put that one along near my, probably near my airport as well. So, it's a good idea to just have every single avenue for tourists to get into your city when you're doing gambling. And boats over here. Let's just figure out how to do this. Yeah, I figured I'm going to have to delete one section of road, probably up here, and reroute this traffic somehow, which is probably going to be through this road that's going to be up here. But then I'll have to delete this section, which is fine. Now, what I want to do first here is just clear out any sort of bus stations that might be in the way. No? Okay, that's perfect. Just build this up to here. Going to upgrade this road up all the way to a high density street. And that'll get a lot of traffic in through the airport, which is what we want here. Next, we're going to delete this street, which is going to get our casino. Get this road down through the center of town. And then we're going to delete this small stretch of road right here. And this is going to cause a bit of a traffic jam as people try and get turned around, but I'm sure that this is a relatively efficient way of having my city set up, so traffic shouldn't be too terrible here. I think I did delete some of my central bus stations, so let's get those back online. And yeah, I definitely did. Bus service is back. I tend to find that you sometimes need to increase your bus service as your population density increases, but usually it's not too bad. Anyhow, let's get to replacing that casino that just got torn down. As you can see, I did actually make enough money somehow for my HQ, so I will be building that eventually. Now back open for business. Yet another house of debauchery and corruption. And blackjack. Since, to be honest, blackjack's my favorite game. I can't afford it apparently, but, you know, that'll be fine in a few minutes. So, got plenty of tourists pouring in from the airport, I think. We got 60 arrivals today out of 400 leaving, so it's all pretty good here. And this is something I think a lot of people don't really appreciate at this early stage, is sort of being adaptable. You want to be able to delete large chunks of your city if you have to, just redoing it. It's usually a lot less painful than trying to redo large sections of your town later on in the game. But as you can see, things are going along very efficiently. My population's gone up to 28,135, and you know, I've actually been deleting sections of residency when I've been putting in these roads, and it's just this increase in density. So, increasing density, it's a good thing. I'll probably hit 40,000 without having to zone any more residency. And that'll be perfect, basically. Now then, what I want to add is probably going to be the port. But first off, let's finish off this casino, I guess. Let's get that blackjack table in. Boom. Dramatically increase people spending money there. And once I've gotten all forms of transit in and out of the city, which is also going to have to include a bus depot, I'll basically just be raking in tons of cash from these casinos. This one, as you can see, has picked up slack from this one going closed for a little while. This one's already starting to catch up to baseline, and that'll be perfect. Just check on our utilities to make sure that we're keeping up with them. I've still got 50.9 excess gallons and 85 of water, so that's all good. Our electricity is doing perfect. Our garbage is probably not. Yeah, we need extra garbage collection trucks. So let's build another one of those. And after this, what we're probably going to do is work on saving up for our recycling plant. Now, It's not as bad as it looked there. Since it's only 2 p.m., that means the garbage truck still had time to go around and collect more, but I was pretty sure that it was going to stay in the yellow, which is usually not a good thing. At this point in time, we've got another upgrade at our town center. Perfect. People are protesting here. They're protesting high rent, which means I need to increase the number of houses I've got going on, but I'm not going to worry about that for now. That's not really my concern. So let's get down this Department of Tourism. And that's going to give me a good opportunity to just put down some sort of fancy building. What I like early on is the Globe Theater, mostly because I like Shakespeare. And because it's inexpensive, and it gives you a really good, a good number of tourists and good revenue, so it's a good building to build. Another thing that the Department of Tourism gives you is access to the most advanced parks, but since amphitheaters are so expensive, I don't really build them. They're kind of nice to have, though. I just don't really build them. They're more for high-class people as well. The other thing you can build, though, is plazas, the Plumbob Park, which is also high wealth value, but it looks really cool. So I might build one of those later when I decide I need high wealth casinos, but until then, let's not worry about that. So I'm sort of debating internally whether I want to build the boats first or my trains first, and I'll be building the German high-speed rail station just because I paid for it, may as well. Yeah, that's pretty much the only motivation for that. As you can see, I've broken the 31,000 mark. I've still not built any new residential. Yeah, this is one of those things that you see players do. They get really overzealous. Like, I want to increase the population, so they fill the entire map with like residential zoning, and it becomes a disaster zone. Traffic is still incredibly light across most of the city. Crime is relatively high. That's the only real thing that's going poorly here. Fire is pretty bad right now. I need to work on increasing my education, so I'll do that. Oops. Today I cannot click on things. Actually no, I'll let that sit until I can get the other transit things down, since I can afford my boats now. So let's get that boat down. I'm incredibly waffly, in case you didn't notice. I basically just like, yeah, let's do whatever. Okay, so boats. Boom. Got a high density road down to here. So now this road is connected to both the ferry terminal and the airport, which is a lot of tourists. They'll be really good. I've got my limit reached on wherever the hell this is. Passenger ferry dock, okay. But I can get a cruise ship dock, which is another great thing to have if you want to have a lot of tourists. So boom, that's down. Now what can happen is that like a cruise ship can go into port, they can go into town, they can gamble, they can go to my shops, and it'll basically be perfect. My air pollution levels are still going up, but traffic is still relatively tame. It's getting a little congested, but it's nothing that's too silly, and this will go down once I've got some more transit down. What I need to look at now is probably going to be the trains. I can get away with not doing my section of streetcars yet. What I'm going to do is probably build it along here. Once I've got it, it'll just be pretty much just back and forth around here. Nothing too advanced. But it'll cover enough of the city that it'll reduce the capacity a little bit. Let's check our buses. Let's check the details. The wait is 42 minutes on average, and we get 9,020 riders. That's quite a hefty amount. And frankly, getting all this transit out of town is not going to be easing that at all. But you can also see that we have a lot of pedestrians. Pedestrian traffic doesn't take up really any space, so that's perfect. Yeah. Anyhow, this gives me time to build my train station. So let's just go ahead and build that. So apparently I built this a little bit incorrectly. So what I'm just going to have to do is probably just this. Not the most elegant solution, not really happy with it, but, you know, it works. Police, crimes in progress. Still a lot of criminals around town, so let's go upgrade our police station again. No, that costs 15,000. I can't afford to do that yet. We've got 16 out of 25 in our jail cells. That'll be 17, 18 now. This is getting a little bit out of hand, but that's what you can expect in a casino town, really. It's mostly been muggings and burglaries, so nothing too serious yet. And as you can see, they're still getting arrested. So they're not getting away with this. So let's get ourselves another one of these. And I want another squad car, but I can't afford it quite yet. So next paycheck, that'll be the first thing I get. Oh man, there were two muggings like a street apart from each other. And part of this is actually just cleaning up the criminals that got released when I blew up that other one. So many criminals, Jesus. What I might need to do at this point is start building schools. Schools reduce your criminals, so. But until then, you know, criminals can't be released. Oops. Can't let there be criminals running about for free. So crime is still high. That's okay. Just going to have to slowly and steadily increase our police responsibilities. And things should work out relatively well. So as you can see, the city's grown tremendously. I've nearly hit that 40,000 mark, that nice critical 40,000 mark. These places are probably being stifled a little bit because there's all this crime going on. But other than that, Sims are pretty happy. They'll probably be happier if I upgrade my school again. Boom. They'll get more education. The more educated your Sims, the better things perform all in all. Less fires, less crimes, just all in all better. To improve that further, I might just build a library. That'll help out a little bit. But for now, things are going smoothly. I'm liking the look of the city. I still like the way it looks with the residence viewer. Looks very nice. And everything's going along swimmingly. As you can see, my casinos are now making a lot of money. They're both making, combined they're making quite a lot. I can afford to get the gambling HQ now. I don't really want to get it since I'm not going to be using it quite yet. Since I can't afford to get any of these bigger buildings anyway, I'm going to keep focusing on the sort of smaller buildings, and I want to get the Globe Theater next. So I think I'll stick around before ending this episode just until I get the Globe Theater down, which might take a little while depending on what needs crop up. My population has been increasing quickly, so it's important to check your utilities very regularly, just to make sure that nothing's about to go completely sideways on you. Garbage is still pretty bad, but not too terrible. And what I might need to do fairly soon is add a burner to it. Once you do that, it'll turn this into air pollution, it'll drift off into the ocean, and I won't have to worry about it. Out of sight, out of mind, basically. Which is not a good real-life policy, don't do that. So I've got 35,000. I don't know if that's enough for the Globe Theater. Find out in just a second. Oops, passed it. 48,000, so 2 more paychecks. My gambling profits are still climbing a little bit, fairly slowly, but as you can see, I've got a ton of people coming in from the airport and from elsewhere. What I need to do actually is add bus service to my airport. That was silly of me. I was not thinking straight there. Bus for my airport, bus for my seaport, and a bus for my train station. Boom. Okay, so what I'm going to have to probably do is add double-decker buses relatively soon, just because they'll handle the increased capacity. The alternative is building 2 regular bus stations, but I mean, I have them, I might as well. I've got 40,000 people now. I've got the ability to build the mayor's mansion. And again, look, I haven't built a single extra ring of residencies. Okay, these houses aren't expanding, so what I'm going to do is just demolish this section of town, and that'll be that. Boom. This is where I live. It's my new mansion. You can see the wave of happiness radiating outwards in this town. Look at that, beautiful. I just love watching that. Now, since my happiness is above 80%, it's 84% in fact, which is really high, I can just sit here until my mayor's mansion is like fully upgraded. Your mayor's mansion gets upgrades based on how long your approval rating stays above a certain amount. And for me, that means that I'll be getting a lot of upgrades very quickly. Petition to build a community college has been approved. That'll be perfect, that's fine. But I want that Globe Theater first, and I get that in my next paycheck, so we'll do that, and then we'll call it a day. One thing to be careful about when you build your mayor's mansion, you'll be getting upgrades fairly quickly, and once you get those upgrades, your city is going to explode in population. Just as a heads up if you're playing this game, because it increases happiness, and it'll usually bump these guys, like these guys are on the border. Once I add something to this mayor's mansion, any upgrade at all, well, that one doesn't have room to increase density. Actually, strange. All those buildings don't have room to improve density. I'm not really sure what's going on there. But, you know, that just means I place my roads a little bit strangely there. Anyhow, I've been rambling on, and now I've got enough money for the Globe Theater. Let's go ahead and build that. Culture. One over. And the Globe Theater. Let's build it beside one of our casinos. Be a good tourist attraction. We'll draw people over towards this sector here. As you can see, happiness all around. This is also increasing land value. Still not sure why these guys don't have room to increase density. I must have placed these roads just a little bit off. Well, they're increasing density now. How peculiar. Some of them are. What might have to happen is I'll have to demolish these buildings and let them rebuild, but let's find out. At the very least, it would be nice if they would change to medium residencies. Yeah, I don't know. It's a part of circle roads in general. It's one of the reasons why I try and avoid them, is that that sort of thing tends to happen. Now then, just want to show this because, you know, putting down the Globe Theater isn't that interesting, so let's just do one last thing here. This is what you can do when you've got something like a theater. You can schedule an event. So at the Globe Theater, we'll be showing a Shakespearean play. It occurs at 8 p.m. It's currently 2 p.m., so people have got 6 hours to book a flight, get to the airport, drive around, and get to the Globe Theater. And that'll be perfect. As you can see, people are already starting to flood into the Globe Theater. And the way these events work is that you schedule one, it costs you a certain amount of money, and it'll tell you how much that cost. And as it fills up, that value decreases, and you'll eventually get a payout. So, now the problem with this, of course, is that it has caused complete gridlock in my city. But look at all those people just flooding in there. Everyone wants to see a little bit of William Shakespeare. It's probably William Shakespeare as being performed by William Shatner, because that is the most amazing thing that you can ever really watch. I'm Canadian, so I've just got a bias there. But once you get the capacity attendance to the maximum, you'll end up with the largest payout. Of course, you get a higher payout for the higher class medium wealth or high wealth attendance. But Shakespeare tends to get filled out by the low class. I'm not really sure why. That doesn't make any sense to me. But, you know, it was accurate for the Elizabethan era, so. Is that the Elizabethan era? I'm not really sure. But anyway, having the Globe Theater there really increases things like my gambling house revenue, so it's a great thing to have there. So it's almost 5 o'clock. That means play will be showing in 3 hours. We're already in the green. We're getting paid out $8,000. It cost us $6,000. We're getting $8,000 in profit. That's adjusted for profit. Got people going past it, but there's a traffic jam that's developed. That's a little bit unfortunate. Got people leaving for some reason, but they've already paid for a ticket, so screw them. And for some reason, attendance has stalled. I guess this is the number of tickets that had sold. Oh well, that's a pretty good show out. I would have gotten considerably more money if I'd built a train station earlier, which I've got enough money to do now, so... Oh wait, I have built a train station. I'm not thinking at all. I can upgrade my mayor's mansion. This will happen incrementally as your people are happy for a certain number of hours. Oops. So, just before Shakespeare comes on, let's add an eagle to the top of my house. Perfect. Back to looking at this. Got an hour left, and no one seems to be interested in filling up the last 2,000 seats. So it looks like they'll rush the doors and are happy with the results now. Got an hour left, and this is a pretty good show up, in all honesty. 1,000 cost 6,000, we're making 8,000 profit. Oh, whoa, what the heck? Oops. Okay, so apparently my number of people residing here just spiked up to 2,763 miraculously. I'm not actually sure how that happened, but you know, I'll take it. That is a miraculous result, in all honesty. Really glad that that happened. My approval rating has dropped to 81%, and it's probably just because these houses here. Yeah, there's some people who are poor. And it's probably because they spent all their money in the casinos like the irresponsible people that they are. But, you know, it happens. So, we've got the event going on in here. If you sort of zoom in, you can sort of see the Sims acting around in there, fooling around. I'm not sure where all the, like, 2,000 people are, but it frankly would have been kind of silly to try and draw all those people in there. Even after this has started, people have just sort of been trickling in to watch Shakespeare, even if they can't watch the whole thing. So this is a truly silly amount of money considering how little I spent for it. This is already paid practically for the Globe Theatre itself. So while Shakespeare's going on, I'm going to just use all this money that I've gotten from yakking away and not paying attention to this on upgrading this police station quite a bit. And that'll help coverage quite a lot. Crime, I think, is still probably pretty out of control here. Yeah, crime is pretty silly. But, you know, you can deal with it. Let's get education tab up. I've upgraded. I can now have a community college since I've had enough students. So I'm going to think about getting that, but for now, what I want to get is a recycling center. That'll increase my happiness even further. I want to get this above 85% is the ideal. Anything above 80% is really good, though. Suddenly, oh, I see. The spike was all those medium wealth people that sort of live nearby suddenly jumped into the play at the last minute. I guess low class people wanted to get in line early because they didn't have the internet to buy their tickets on or something. So, you know, it's all pretty good. Run a successful stadium event in your city. Okay, perfect. I'm going to schedule another one of these because the payoff for these is really great. Anyhow, let's go into our recycling. Get that up, and I keep saying I'll call it a day, but this game is so addictive. Boom, recycling service. And that'll make just a couple houses unhappy because it's a little bit close, but it's not too bad. Along with that, you need to have a trading post or a trading depot. I can probably fit it right there. Perfect. Now, you need to add on a couple things to these. I've heard that some people didn't know that you had to do this, but you do. You need to add it so that you're trading in plastic. And I'll get to the others as soon as I qualify, which is when I add on to this. But I need a little bit more money before that happens. So, yeah, both my gambling houses have gone up over 10,000 a day, which is huge profits. And that's partly because of the Globe Theatre here. So they've got another event coming. It'll start up at 8 p.m. the next day again. This time I've announced it earlier, so what's going to happen is people are going to start trickling in earlier, which means I'll have less problems. Just going to upgrade these roads a little bit. And what I forgot to do is change this. Plastic, I want to export it, and that'll let my garbage turn into money. Looks like I am going to have to start working on those streetcars, since this main road is getting a little bit clogged up. Traffic is still flowing pretty smoothly. I'm not too worried about it, but I do want it to be fixed before the city gets any bigger. I've got another upgrade at my mansion, even as people are protesting in front of it. People are very peculiar. They'll celebrate with fireworks, but they'll be protesting while they do it. So, big spread of happiness. I've dropped below 80%, which is really unfortunate. Commercial happiness has dipped down, which seems to have been influencing something. This guy wants me to bring 200 passengers in by ferry in one day. That's going to be difficult. Anyhow, I'm not actually sure what commercial wants of me, so let's go check that. Not enough shoppers, and there's too much crime. Okay, so yeah, I kind of figured that would come back and bite me a little bit, but let's go figure out if I can deal with crime a little bit better. Now, the crime bar, it's too early in the day for people to be committing crimes, even though around sort of 6 is when the criminals should be mobilizing to try and find houses to break into, since you're supposed to break into a house like 8 in the morning. That's just sort of the ideal time to break into a house. Not because I'm a robber or a crook or anything, or that I break into people's houses. It's just one of those facts that came up in Persona 4 that I knew the answer to. Anyhow, crime seems to be lightening up a little bit, actually, so happiness will probably start rising up again just a little bit. Now, as for the more shoppers thing, I can't really do much about that. So, we just have to wait for commercial to get more for more residential to start popping up by itself, which it will. Now I got these places where they're saying that there's no room to expanding. So I have no idea what was going on with that, but we've got these other ones where they still can't. Some other ones where they did anyway. I don't really, well, these ones I know can't because the mayor's mansion's right there. Or mayor's house, I mean. I could probably move it and then build somewhere else, but, you know, their comfort is not my concern. Okay, so I've got ridiculous tons of money again, pretty quickly. So this is going to let me build these. Now your metal reclamation line has to be this one. If you're building it, don't put it here because it will block the other. See how it's got 2 slots here? It'll block both slots. So metal reclamation has to be there. Now ally reclamation should be built with both of these. You should build 2 ally reclamation because it's worth a lot more money. Once you've got that going, you just need to upgrade the number of stops. And boom. And one of the biggest benefits of this is that doing so will decrease the amount of garbage that your Sims generate, since they'll now be generating recyclables, and those recyclables are deducted from the amount of garbage that would normally be taken. So not only are you going to be able to make money off of this, but you'll be reducing the amount of garbage that's in your city. Manage global deliveries, export, export. Boom. Perfect. So my hospital's complaining about something. What it probably needs is more ambulances. So let's give them more ambulances. I don't have any money anymore, but that'll be pretty quickly solved. I've still got a pretty good trade, pretty good amount of profit going in from everything. Now, it's too early in the morning, so no one's actually gone to the Globe Theater yet. I've got yet another upgrade for my mansion. I'll do the flag post. As far as I know, the flag post doesn't actually increase happiness, but it's a bit unique in that respect. It's just like all of them except for that. I don't know why. So my happiness still hasn't rebounded. There's too much crime still. Hopefully I'll be able to manage that before this caps out, and that way I'll be able to manage that a little bit better. How is the crime index here? There looks like there are there's still 6 criminals at large, which is a little bit unfortunate. Police can't arrest them until they try and make a move, but when they try and make a move, they're going to influence everything quite heavily. People have started showing up for the Globe Theater. It's only noon, but this is when they started showing up for some reason. That's pretty good. We've got my recycling trucks going around, making their rounds. They're going to fill up pretty quickly since no one's recycled anything yet. One of the things in this game is that recycling requires sort of awareness. So that increases after you've built it over time. So looking at my garbage meter right now, I've got 747 recycling bins and 2,655 garbage bins. These numbers are going to change over time, and it's going to start favoring more and more recycling bins until eventually I've got more recycling than I have got garbage. My casinos have basically capped out, and that's perfectly fine. Criminals have started to move. They're getting arrested. I've got plenty of jail cells. People are getting reformed pretty well, so I don't have to worry about that at all yet. Let's just check on our utility since we haven't done that in a while. We've still got 60.6 excess gallons of water. Our outflow, however, is starting to look a little bit sketchy, so let's get that upgraded. Nothing worse than having sewage floating down our streets. Perfect. Check power. We've got 16.1, so I'm going to have to upgrade my coal factory as well, or coal power plant as well. So delightfully, we've already started to make a profit from the Globe Theater, and just have an event every single day and that'd be perfectly fine. Our ferry terminal, looks like most of our, there's no way that this should be still, oh well, whatever. This should be cleared by now, so I'm just going to tell you to go away. What's this guy complaining about? Our garbage dump is full. That's a little bit disastrous. Okay, so normally I don't do this, but let's just add another dump zone real quick. Fire service is slow, so I'm going to have to add more fire trucks. And medicine, lots of health issues. Is this already full? Holy cow. Okay, this is a little bit more pressing since it's already full. Got 8 deaths per day, that's not too bad, really. City with this many people, this much crime. City with this many people, this much crime, casinos everywhere, it's pretty acceptable. Now, finally got into a fully upgraded level 1 Mayor's Mansion, which means I'll start working on the next tier, which requires a higher level of happiness, and this is why I wanted it to be above 80%. Balcony, if I recall, has to go here. There's another building that had to go on this side, but if it's not, I'll switch them around. All these cameras around the map are people demanding certain tourist traps. People want like things other than the Globe Theater, they want the Empire State Building, they want whatever. I've got a luxury condo coming up right beside the mayor's office, that's pretty nice. It's going to be the sort of middle class house. Perfect. I get so easily distracted when I'm playing this game. Just so many things happening that require my attention. My happiness has just plummeted tons here, which is really unfortunate. Okay, so I'm probably going to have to plop down another wellness clinic somewhere. I'm not really sure where. Let's just have a look at the demographics chart. Health. Looks like all the major problems are up in the north. So I'll have to drop a wellness clinic up there somewhere. I can put it along this road over here and that would be fine. So dropping wellness clinic. Adding one of these because it's going to fill up pretty much immediately. And basically, it's going to service this industrial sector where all the major problems seem to be happening. And once that's under control, hopefully my approval rating will go back up above 80%, which is what I want. I've got over 1,000 people. It's still climbing rapidly. All the medium income people come in after the low wealth people for some reason. I'm not really sure why that happens, but hopefully at the last minute it'll just spike up again and everything will be fine. Lots of sick people in this town. It's probably because of the industry, but ambulances are being deployed all over the place and people should be okay. Zoom in here. Look at all this pedestrian traffic. Very colorful dressed people. Now, crime doesn't seem to be too bad right now, so I'm kind of wondering why everyone's saying that crimes are really bad right now. There are a lot of criminals abroad, though, it looks like, which the police have to start dealing with. Hopefully they will. But again, the best way to combat that will be education, so I'll get working on that. My roads seem to actually still be keeping up with traffic relatively well. No major incidents except for when people are trying to pack into the Globe Theater. Looks like I've got fewer profits today. I guess you need to keep it idle in between events every once in a while, so I'll try letting it stay still the next day and see what happens. But in any event, that's going to be a lot of money. We got this place saying that we've got great police coverage now, so maybe my approval rating's starting to climb a little bit. No. It's just not the way it is. It must just be police catering to the rich in particular. Anyhow, working on education. Let's get our community college up. I'm not actually sure what upgrades you can build along a community college. I usually build a university. But in any event, if I recall, community colleges influence industry. So let's build it up here. Now this should increase the tech level of my industry, which should make it cleaner. Let's see what add-ons you can build to these. Just extension wings, which probably increase capacity, yeah. Increase it by 500. I can build it sort of here or here. So let's just plop them down. Boom. And that's our local community college. Fully upgraded already, and I need to get a little bit more bus act. There we go. And that should make the people of the city a little bit happier, a little bit healthier, and less prone to lighting fires, and less prone to turning to a life of crime. All good things. As you can see, we've still got a lot of criminals running around, but we've got plenty of police. They're just arresting people left, right, and center. Eventually, we're going to turn to a totalitarian police regime. It'll be pretty great. It's always nice when you've got a totalitarian police regime. Okay, so that event went pretty well. Payout was only 17,450, but that's a pretty good payout still. Construction is underway for a new mill, so at this point you can see our industry has started building the highest level industry you can get without increasing the tech level, which is good. Here, just going to start adding passenger terminals since that's what we mostly want from our city. And I can add another runway, but oh no, it looks like I can't. And that sort of happens. So we'll just leave it at that. We've got plenty of tourists who are sort of waiting to depart, but since we've got these new, nicer sections, that's not as big of a problem. Let's just check how our high-speed rail is going. They've got 1,000 riders a day. Average wait time in 19 minutes, that's not bad. All this combined means that our casinos are plummeting in value for some reason. I'm not really sure why that would be. But, oh well, it's one of those things that happens. I kind of want to know why this is just like, oh yeah, the land value for this place just plummeted. What the heck? So this place is probably going to get demolished pretty quickly just because the land value dropped for some reason. I'm not actually sure how they built a high wealth house right there anyway when they're at a low land value, but you know, that was their poor decision. So in any event, just check on our recycling center. Everything seems to be flowing smoothly to and from. If we look here, we can see our we've not got much income from this yet. Our list must have turned over or something, I'm not really sure. Currently got an unemployment crisis. That means they want more industry. That might get resolved when this gets built. So we've got tons of people heading over to our community college. That's good. In hindsight, this is a very poor road to put it on. Anyway, I really should stop, so I'll call this a day. I hope you've found this enjoyable. I found this very relaxing, and hope to see you all next time.